All right, welcome everyone. This is a Viper Professional Training and Support webinar. Today's date is May the 14th, 2018, and the title of tonight's webinar is Using Stealth and Predictor with ObjectTrader. This is a Monday night webinar, and as everyone knows that's been to our webinars or our live trading room, everything that we say and do at Viper Trading Systems is for educational purposes only. Futures trading, forex trading, any kind of financial instruments trading involves risk. Therefore, there's always risk of loss. You should only trade discretionary capital, and that is money that you can afford to lose. Nothing said in this webinar. Other webinars we might have, our live trading room or anything else with Viper Trading Systems, should never be construed as trading or investment advice. And as always, everyone does trade at their own sole discretion. Any questions on the disclaimer? All right, bear with me just one sec. All right, let me go ahead and get the standard disclaimer off the screen so we can get started here. All right, and I've got a little chart up here, and like I do in a lot of the webinars that I do, especially when we've got new people coming in, checking us out on trial or whatever. Okay, now this is going to be an actual trade that I took yesterday afternoon, and I'm going to show you how I did it, because a lot of people are starting to do these little trades after, basically when the market opens and everything. You can get some really nice little trades actually. And a market open is why we designed something like Stealth, to give an example. Okay. And what I'm going to show you here is how to use this little tool. Okay. But first off, you got to know which direction you're going to go. Now, could it actually crater at the open? Absolutely it could. But guess what? I wasn't looking for which direction on the trade. Anybody? Which direction was I not looking for by looking at this chart? Exactly. I wasn't looking for shorts, was I? Because if you use your lightning scripts, draw lightning 3 even. Now let me start this up here real quick. Bear with it just a second and I'll draw it. All right. That is your lightning scripts right there. Now this did have a little ABC, established a low once this high was taken out. Established this low when this high was taken out. Established this low when this high was taken out. Okay. But you'll notice that each and every single time that they make these swings with this a priori type swing on the lightning 3, they hold these little areas, don't they? And they hold them pretty well. So what I was looking for, and to use the tools and everything, was a little pullback type trade. Okay, and then use a tool that we've got. Okay. Now tonight we're going to be talking about Stealth and Predictor. I'll try to get to both of them, and I'm hoping to even get to the Sniper, but maybe not till next time. Okay. But one thing, keep in mind, each and every time that you're trading with our software, you've got to know what direction the trend's going. I stress that over and over, because how many of you have been sucked into a short just below midband, and then it give you maybe 5 ticks or something like that, especially where you get in because you're scared of it to begin with, and then you get in too late. Exactly, right? Now, we're in the process of working on a little trader that will look at the midband trades, and it will look at the phantom trades, and it will box it in accordingly and even move the box. Now, it's not done yet, but it's being worked on. Okay, and I'm sure I'll get it to test in plenty of time so everybody will see it. Okay, but let's go ahead and go. Everybody got the direction of the chart, right? I mean, if you didn't get that, please go back and review some webinars, because this is definitely an uptrend, isn't it? It's definitely an uptrend. There's your support level right across here at 801, right? So would you be looking to turn on ObjectTrader to go short? And the answer is no. Now, at the open of the market, it could crater. There's not a question about it. But I'll tell you what it normally would do, though. You'll short a bar close, and it'll short one, and then it'll pop and go up like it's planning to begin with. So don't do that. Okay? Now, one other thing I want to mention to everybody today. I was talking to a member earlier. One thing you want to be very, very careful of doing with ObjectTrader. ObjectTrader reads the instrument, okay, when you put ObjectTrader on the chart. this knows this is a YM chart because I loaded ObjectTrader afterwards. If I go changing this to Russell or something like that in the middle of ObjectTrader, you could be getting a Russell trade instead of a YM trade, okay, because you didn't restart ObjectTrader. So be sure if you ever change these, you know, just go ahead and restart ObjectTrader. As a matter of fact, I would take it off the chart, click, remove, apply, and put it back on and apply it again. That way you know for sure it's on your particular chart. Because I've done this myself. I was trading oil one day, and I had mistakenly changed one of my charts to YM, and guess what it was trading? It was still trading oil. Okay, I'll talk to the programmer and see if there's a little bit better way for ObjectTrader to see this. But the way ObjectTrader is designed so that we can put so much script in it is that it has to basically not do any more than it has to. You remember the old days on ObjectTrader where it was a little bit slow? Well, we had it looking at bid and ask, you know, every tick that was coming in, and it slowed it down. So we don't want to do something like that to it. Okay, because a lot of us trade this for absolute real, and you just don't want to do that. Okay, so let me show you basically what you could do with this little trade. This is Sunday night, so you clearly see that you've got an uptrend, maybe a double top, but if you were to short this, I bet you get a bar down to here and then pop it right up. Okay, so you could use a tool called Stealth. Stealth is right here, and you would not want to do the opposite side of it just yet, simply because the trend is up. We already decided that on that black chart. Okay, so I would simply turn on long Stealth. I just did one contract last night, but let's just try 3 and see what it does. And what you actually do then, and this is going over in market replay, see how quickly that did that? Okay, now that's how quick that actually did that for me yesterday, and I only did one contract, and it actually got $160. Okay, now this is another trade right here, by the way, and you could easily take it. See it right here? Just came down to support. You could absolutely take it, but you can also take it with Stealth. You know, just turn Stealth on. Matter of fact, we just missed it, unfortunately, because Stealth just turned on. But what I'm trying to show you there is that you can use Stealth to get that. Okay, now, unfortunately, now we would have to wait for another Stealth because I fired it manually, and then we didn't get this Stealth right here. Okay, so let's see if we get another one, just for the fun of it. No Stealth until it breaks it. There's a little Stealth there, but that's probably going to get us. We'll find out. And let's see if we get another Stealth. Oh, and one other thing I want to show everybody too is to be careful and make sure that you have this particular feature. Let me go ahead and turn that on real quick so we can get that trade if it fires. This is a Stealth trade. It's simply looking to break that Stealth line. See, there's no Stealth line right now. It's all just blue candles. Yeah, and by the way, on this one that started right here, Stealth actually does look at this little area right here where this bar closed down through Stealth. That's why it fired it right there. Okay, now I would not normally leave my Stealth on until at least got near midband. Okay, see, it's already gotten near midband. Let's see if we can get another trade. Stealth trade's what it'll be. See if we can get one. By the way, Predictor, if I was using Predictor, you would have gotten that one right there. Now, keep in mind that Stealth is actually looking at an algorithm for the direction of the trend. It's also looking at the basically the momentum of that trend, and it's also looking at breaks below this little line here. Now, usually when I'm taking a trade like that, I don't care if that's 21 ticks. I'm still using that swing. Everybody see why? Because I haven't got any profit on it yet, so I'm going to take a chance that it's going to go ahead and do what I want it to do. Okay, because we trade lightning. Let's see if we get a trade. Let's see, doesn't stealth get you in too late? Well, Davin, on your question, keep in mind that you can actually change stealth. We're trying to work on a stealth that you can actually change on the fly. That's what I'd like to have. Because, the whole idea of getting into a trade is getting in as early as you can. Now, let me tell you about something that we're working on here. Let me show you what's going to actually happen. Basically, let's just kill this trade for a minute. We don't care. I want to show you something here. All right, we're looking for a trade, and what you're going to be able to do, it's going to say like midband on here. Okay, it's going to have a little drop down here for midband. Then you're going to have a plus or minus, so that you can tell it, I want to look for the trade, for instance, 2 ticks from the midband or even 2 ticks under the midband if you want to. And it'll be adjustable on the fly too. Now, the way this little trade will do is it's going to look as soon as it gets X ticks from the midband. Let's just see how close that got real quick. That's 24,854, and midband is 24,850. So that's 4 ticks. So it would not have triggered if you set that for like 3 ticks, to give an example, or 2 ticks. But it would have triggered here. Now, what it's going to do when it triggers, it's not going to take the trade immediately. What it's going to look for, it's going to look for a bounce. Okay? And the way we're going to have this thing do this is to where it looks, you're looking at midband, you've got a bar down, you've got a bar up. Where would you think a decent entry on this trade would be? Anybody? Anybody at all? Right here, right? So couldn't we make ObjectTrader see this in real time and get in on that bar? Okay. Now you could still turn on bar close right at midband like we do a lot of times in the room, but keep in mind sometimes you get a bar down, a bar up, and another bar down, and then pretty soon you're down at phantom. Okay. We're also working on a phantom trade too. Okay, and the way it's going to look for it is going to be, let's give an example of a long. It's going to look between X ticks from line 2, and it's going to start boxing in a region. And that region is going to move with the prices. For instance, if this little trade had not fired right there, and let's say that instead this bar had not closed up, but it went down instead, well, then it's going to follow the box until it can box it in. And we're hoping that's going to be just a phenomenal way to trade this. Okay? But see where you could get in on that trade right there on a 1, 2, 3 reversal? Now, when you think about a 1, 2, 3 reversal, technically, if a candle goes down and a candle goes up, that's maybe 6 ticks. Is the yellow band touch a stealth pullback? Yes. Yes. As a matter of fact, this little trade right here would fire on this bar right here on stealth. Correct. Okay. Let's see. Will it put a green box on the chart? Yes. Yeah, when we get this done, the way this is going to do, let me just, I'll draw a box, but I'll change it to our color green so you'll just know that it's going to be like ObjectTrader. We'll just go ahead and go with green. All right. The way it's going to do, it's only going to start drawing the box when you get to X ticks from the midband. If it misses it, you may miss a trade, and you'll have to still do your trend lines and stuff like that. Okay, but a healthier trade is at or below midband for a long. Okay, and if you get within a couple of ticks of a midband, I'd be watching for this little trade. Okay, and the way it's going to do it, it wouldn't have drawn it here because remember that was 4 ticks from this midband, so it wouldn't draw it there. But what it would do when it got within 2 ticks of that midband, it would actually draw it right here, and it would look at this little wicked candle right here, and it would make the box like that automatically, and then it's going to fire on that bar. Okay, I'll show you where it will also do it on like a phantom, to give an example. We had a phantom on I think it was Russell today that I could show you. Okay, but what we're looking at on this is, for instance, let's say that this doesn't even get near midband again, because if you remember right, if you traded YM after the bell yesterday, a midband trade, this was, if I remember right, this was the only one that set up right here. Okay. So it would have caught that trade. All right. Did it catch any others? Let's find out. Let's see where we're at right now. It might have caught this one. Look at that. That's 874, and that's 876, or 874 and 871. That's 3 ticks. So you would have had, that's what I've been looking at on this. You want to be between 2 and 3 ticks from midband, because it's not going to fire it automatically at the line that you draw. It's going to follow it as you get like a reversal. Here's a candle down. Well, it's looking at this. It comes within X ticks of your midband, and then it's going to fire on that bar right there. And you put your stop just under here. Now, I'm also going to do something for you on the phantom trade, that if you get in a phantom trade, it's going to automatically put your stop at 0. Now, you can move it, but keep in mind that could be 12 or 14 ticks as far as that goes, which is your normal, stop to begin with. But the reason we're doing that is because if you look at these phantom trades that really work out, they never take out line 0. Okay. So, and once you're in the trade, you can manage to stop yourself at that time. But the most critical time is when it's actually getting ready to bounce. Okay. So we're going to work on that for you. All right. You want to see if we can get in another trade? Let's see here. They've already hit this swing. They haven't tagged that swing right there. Let's just see if we can get in another one. I'll fire this one either manually, or we'll draw a box and see if it actually works out. Let's see if it does. Okay, we're going to try to pretend this is touch plus 3, and we're going to be looking at a new trade called Midband Trade. And we're going to try to get down to within 3 ticks of this line, and then it's going to box it in. You could even do it at 4, just because the whole idea is that once you actually trigger the trade to tell it to start working, it's going to look at the lightning swings, and it's not going to just get you in arbitrarily. Like sometimes you'll get a thrust and a retrace, and then you'll keep going down, and it's going to actually keep drawing that box all the way until the color of the background or the midband changes, because naturally that would be a good phantom trade if it came down here. Okay, let's see if we can get another trade. I'll take it manually if I have to, but let's watch it. If we can get down a little bit. There's a predictor trade. Now, we're not within 3 ticks of the midband. Let's see if we get within 3 ticks of the midband, just for the fun of it. Three ticks of the midband. All I want them to do is actually just touch this support level, and that would be within 3 ticks of that midband. See if we get it. See, that would not have been a midband trade. It would have been a predictor trade. Okay, so it would not have got that one. It would have got that one. Okay, now if you wanted this manually, obviously it hit that predictor, so I'd probably just fire the button, because I could put my stop just underneath the swing just in case, which would be right under here, like so. Okay, and then you move a target out of the way. Let's see if we can get another trade. One thing about this, I'm gonna show you a lot about the stealth type trade today, which can make a big difference in your trade. Let's just close this out and let's just do one, and then we're going to add one on stealth. All right, or we could add 2 on stealth even. Let's just try that. See, that would actually add 2 if we get a green stealth. Which are the better, the predictor or the midband trades? Well, Davin, keep in mind the one thing about the midband trade. They're really good, but if you start getting this type of deal, let me just show you, like by drawing this. If you start getting this, and let's say that your midband is right under here, okay, and you get something like this after that, and then it starts kissing like a resistance area, and it just keeps going down, and maybe phantoms right down here, what we're looking at is for that still to keep boxing, box in, and the box will actually, when we get it done, will move automatically. Okay, it'll be called like auto region. You'll be able to set it on auto right up here. Actually, it won't be called auto region because it's going to be actually a midband trade and a predictor trade, or a phantom trade. Okay, let's see if we can get something else out of this. Now, I'm not quite as hot on stealth myself because, you know, it's an algorithm with a moving average to begin with. Okay, and you know how traders are out there. They know where those moving averages are. They know where the algorithms are. You know, they know where the trade's setting up. There's no question about that. And they kick breakout traders in the teeth day in and day out constantly. Okay. But the way we teach to trade and everything, a person should be able to still, you know, be able to be quite nicely green with it. All right. Let's see if we can get a little stealth trade. Now, keep in mind, stealth is actually right up here, but it's kind of calculating everything to do with stealth even right now. I'll go ahead and put that on exit and close just in case. Now, see, there was your stealth right there on that bar. See, that to me is just, that's late. There's no question about it. It's very late. I like the predictor trade, and I think we're going to like this midband trade a lot. Okay, because it would have boxed in here. It would have boxed in here on this little 1, 2, 3 reversal. It wouldn't have gotten this one, unfortunately, unless you had set it at 4 or 5 from the midband. Okay, because there's no way that I know of at all, you know, that they're going to always come down to midband, but they will do it on most runs at least once. That's why that first time in the midband after a trend change or after a session break is a really good trade. Okay, yesterday I got this little thrust, but I didn't get this one because this was actually, you know, basically I already got my coin. I was happy with it. I just turned the machine off. I didn't even see the rest of these trades. Plus, we go to church on Sunday night, so it basically didn't care. All right. So what do you think about us working on something like that for you? Anybody think it'll be a good one? Because I actually do. I think that we'll get, you know, some really good trades, especially that'll set up with these little boxes. And a 1, 2, 3 reversal, you know, is, see, technically you could have a bar down and a bar down, and that's not a reversal. Then you just count the bar down, and you need a bar up, and then you need another bar up to go long. Okay, so that's what we're trying to get it to do. All right. Now let's see if, for instance, since we're talking about predictor today too, I'm going to go ahead and just shut this off for just a second, and we're going to do a predictor trade. I'm not caring as much about the P&L. I want to teach you how to use these tools. See if we can get a little pop-up first, though. We'd go ahead and protect our stop right under there. All right, let's say that we just thought, you know what, this is actually pretty decent. You know, you're up a couple of $100. You could be done. You've only been in for like a few minutes as far as that goes, and you could just click close, right? Okay. Now, the next trade on the chart, though, is actually being calculated as we speak. What ObjectTrader is looking for with that predictor is the next step on a predictor. Okay, so let's see if we can get a predictor trade. I'm going to do a predictor. We'll do a touch plus, let's just do a touch plus 3. Let's see if we get a predictor trade. Unless this thing's over, and then we won't get the trade. It may just blow through the predictor. We'll find out. Now, one thing I'll show you here in a little bit is where you're going to be able to basically be able to tell on your trade, on like your phantom, whether it's going to take it or not. Because we're going to have it to where it's going to look to phantom itself. But like I said, if this turns magenta, or rose color, one of the short colors, it's going to negate that trade. Now you'll be able to override it if you want to. Okay, let's see if we can get a predictor trade. Not yet. May not get one. That was so close to that one. But it was already past it. See there? Didn't get that one either, did it? Now, I probably wouldn't just keep chasing this with Predictor, obviously, because there's other trades in here that you could easily take by boxing it in. Now, it should take that one. Maybe because I stopped it. I'm going to take it anyway. See that Predictor right there? That may be because I stopped the chart to show you some things. Okay? Now, when you're trading, does everybody draw your lightning on your charts? Because see, this is overnight right here. And remember, YM just went up like amazingly all night long. But where would it be that this would no longer be heading up? Anybody? If you draw your lightning on your charts, you'll see it. Now, you don't want to take a breakout trade, but I'll show you what you draw on your charts because I do this every day. Charles does it every day. And right now, you've got a high, you've got a low, you've got a higher high. So isn't this your swing that they would have to take out if they were to head down? And what would be the criteria for a trade if they did that? Let me show you something, because the way we're going to design this, let's see if we can get a little trade here. Let me speed it up a little bit. Remember we called that 954 in the room today? It was perfect, wasn't it? And that was way before this time of night. It's amazing how they look at those levels. Okay, so let me ask you a quick question. If we were looking for a phantom trade here, okay, let's say that we go X ticks from this right here, okay? So I'm going to speed it up and see if it will. See if we can get a little phantom trade. If we did it like touch plus 2 to give an example, we would have to be within 18 to 20. Okay, so it would have to get in this area right here. Now we're going to have two ways to trade this. You're going to be able to actually do it on a 1, 2, 3 reversal or on lightning. Okay, because for instance, you don't know how far this is going to go down once it starts breaking below midband. A lot of our people short this right here. Okay, but let's see if they break this little swing. Okay, now the way this box would start drawing would be as such. See, that's almost to 22, not quite to 20 yet though, so we're not drawing a box yet, are we? Now, almost. Now you would draw the box. Everybody see that? So your box would be a 1, 2, 3 reversal as of right now anyway, so you'd basically, the box would start drawing right here. Okay, if this bar still continues to go down, then it's going to bring the box down with it. Let's see if it did or didn't. Okay, now notice where it would do it now. You got a bar up, there's where it would be right here. So your bar down, your bar up, it'd break this, you'd head up. Okay, now let me show you something that will negate this trade though, if it doesn't go ahead and fire. Let's see if it fires. If it breaks above there, it is definitely firing. We'll see. All right, so you're in the trade. Okay, you put your stop like inside the box if you want to. Okay, because this is the type of thing right here that a aggressive trade will get you into. I see this happen all the time. Okay, so if you want to instead, you can trade what's called lightning. Okay, and the way that'll be, it'll be looking at this little swing here. If this meter goes green, to take the trade instead. And if you do happen to break down at all, it'll negate the trade. Okay, like this right here. Now this is a phantom trade so far, right? All right, so we would box it in like so. All right, we'd box it in like so, and we'd see if we can get a little, you want to try it? We'll do it. Let's just go for 10 ticks. Wrong thing. 10 ticks, 2 contracts. See if we get something. Now, if this happens to break at all, we won't get this trade at all. So far, though, you've got a midband that's blue, so it's still a legitimate trade. The box would be, okay, that would negate the trade right there. Everybody see that? This would automatically, the way we're planning on doing this, would turn this box off. That's what I want it to do. Because when that background turns red, okay, this is more than likely not going to continue going up. Okay, that's something I'm having the programmer look at the algorithm on, because this red background right here, let's just see what it did. Okay, now, what trade are you looking for? This was not a legitimate midband trade, short, because it was still a long. So where's our next midband trade on this chart? It's right up here, or this could even step down, and we'll try to get a midband trade. Let's see if we can. See if we can get a midband trade. And the way this is going to do, it's going to look at a reversal. That's what the whole plan is on getting it done. See if we can get a midband trade. Or it's going to break down and we'll get a midband trade again. We'll just wait for a midband trade. Why wasn't this legitimate? Well, it's legitimate the way we teach, but not for an auto trader, Davin. We're not going to have it take a short here on a yellow midband and a red background. Now, you could go ahead and box it in yourself, yes. It did kiss resistance at midband and rolled, but that's not my favorite trade. I like to short only when you get this and longs when you're in that long. Now, other than that, you're scalping. You can still trade it, absolutely. Okay? And would we have called this in the room if it was not 2 o'clock in the morning? Yes, we would box that in and take that trade. But what I'm talking about is an auto trader that I want to teach it what to look for on a chart. Okay, so let's see if we can get something. Okay, it's got to get within X ticks of midband. If we had the algorithm set up for a midband trade, it would be looking for this. It'd be looking for a couple of ticks from it. And if it gets up there, that's where it would trigger the box. Didn't quite make it. It's getting a little higher lows, isn't it? Let's see if we can get something. Not within 2 ticks yet. Close, but no cigar still. Now that's it right there. See it? Okay, that is your trade right there. Now what the object trader is going to start doing then is it's going to look at this candle was down, this candle was up. Okay, so right now it would actually draw the box like this. Okay, now if this goes up any higher, we're going to be able to get even a better trade. We'll find out, because we're going to train it to box in. Okay, bar up, bar down. Wouldn't this be it right here? See it right there? Bar up, bar down, breaks the third bar back. And you want to fire it if it does? We'll go ahead and do it. You want to? Let's just put a region there and see if it works. We'll do a region. That's good enough right there. And you can do close, or you can do touch plus like 2 or something like that's fine too. Okay, see how that box will draw? Now notice that it was drawing here at first and then it drew here. That's what I want it to do in real time. I want that box to actually follow as soon as your trigger mechanism is hit. I want it to follow it. Okay, now I also want to add a feature to ObjectTrader where if you're a gutsy trader and you want to take this swing break, like let's say it boxes it in with a 1, 2, 3 reversal, maybe you want to go ahead and be long down here. We'll have an auto region that'll do that also. But there's going to be a midband trade, a predictor trade, and a auto box. Let's see, where did the trend change exactly happen here? Midband color changed to red, or the background changed to red? Well, Kumarish, on your question, basically when the trend changed was when it took out the swing. It took out that swing right through here. Okay, but at the time this was a phantom trade, but not for long. It turned red. So, the new phantom trader will not take that trade because it turned red before it ever fired a three-way reversal. Okay, but when this actually started heading down was when it definitely took out the swing. Okay, now what we're looking for at that point is midband trade, but this was still yellow. So, we could bypass that trade as far as it goes, but I think it'd be smarter not taking a midband trade on a yellow because a lot of times it's just in a little range. But when this goes to magenta, where it's really telling it that the trend changed, those can be pretty good little trades. Okay, those can be pretty good little trades. Would you be able to actually drop your region? Somebody just asked. You also be able to do this with it if you want. Let's say you wanted to go ahead and fire some more. If that closes outside that box or touches +2, it would fire 2 more contracts or your total of your max drawdown, max quantity. Let's see if it gets it. Not yet. Still on that 1, 2, 3 reversal. Now that should get it right there. So you're in 4. Okay, you'd have to put your stop above the wick, like so, and I'd put it on exit on close. Everybody see this? The way we're trying to set this up where it'll really work for you? Because what I want the scripts to do is to automatically look at these, up, down, breaks. Up, down, up again, down, would have to break. The previous candle that was your third candle back is what I'm talking to the programmer about. Keep in mind, this is for 4-range charts too. This is not for larger charts. Okay, because you're going to get them way too late with larger charts. Okay. Now, could we take that on a stealth? Because I'm not here to really teach what we're adding to it. Let's just kill this. And let's see if a stealth trade will actually work. Stealth goes a little ways down, doesn't it? Let's see if we get a stealth. Notice you got a red stealth here. You got a green one here. You're going to have to actually break this area right here for a stealth to kick in. And that stealth, did it on sniper. I just missed a good trade. Well, you know what I do when I'm stupid like that? I just go ahead and sell it. Because it would have fired. That stealth right there would have fired. Okay, let's go ahead and put our stop just a little bit out of the way since I got in late. Sorry about that. I had it on sniper. Yeah, you want to be sure and put it on stealth, obviously, so that you can get the trade. Okay. Now, one thing I want to talk about the predictor today is how important it is to know where it's going to fire, because that's dependent on how you set this up here. Okay, let's just go ahead and kill this. I don't care where it went. I want to show you some things. All right, let's say that you had set this for predictor. Okay, it would have fired the trade. Unfortunately, literally the moment it got within like 2 ticks, you'd already be in the trade. So you felt a little bit of heat. Okay, what about a predictor box type trade where it actually follows it and does a 1, 2, 3 reversal, then you get in it? We could try that. Because the one thing about, even a predictor is obviously it's predicting where these prices are going, and it's pretty darn accurate at getting there, but it's still like a little breakout trade. Okay. Now, also keep in mind one other thing too. Predictors are simply regions. If I draw a box around this little predictor right here, like so, that is actually just a little region trade. And if you tell it to go long above and short below, it would fire the trade on whichever bar closed or touch or whatever you set it on. Okay. Now you've also got the ability to tell it you don't want to do any long trades, because this predictor would now fire a long, see, long above. So this predictor right here, if it went, well, matter of fact, it would have already fired it, because if you did 2 ticks plus and that bar went up, it would have fired it. So what you want to do if you use a predictor in this particular sense here, turn on the require trend. Okay, because it won't let you get into a predictor trade that is long. See, it won't even turn on. Okay, that way you're not taking this predictor trade long. Okay, because again, this is just simply a region. This is all this is. It's telling it like a 10 tick or an 8 tick region, depends on how the predictor draws. And if you had this set on long, it would actually fire the moment it came out of that little region. You don't want that. Okay, because what we're looking at is obviously shorts. Now, something else that I'm having the programmer look at is this little deal here. When you see this lightning like this, to also have the algorithm look at this, and that would be a trend line type break. Okay, where it'll just look at the lows and it's getting within X ticks of midband and it fires on that bar right there. Or it might have even fired on this one. Depends on where it actually closed outside the line. Okay, let's see. If the equivalent box of predictor just the area covered by large ellipse, I've heard you say that the predictor is no longer active or valid at some point. Well, that's correct, Kenneth. On your question, basically, let's say if this had come down here and came back up and came down and came up, and you had no predictor out here, it would not fire the trade anymore. It's actually looking at the active predictor at the time. Now, could you take, for instance, a break inside this predictor? And the answer is yes. All you'd have to do is turn on predictor, short inside. Let's do it like touch plus 4 since it's already inside it. Let's see if we can get something. See if we get something. Touch plus 4. That's touch plus about 3 right there. See what I did? I'm actually telling my region that the top of my region is short inside and short outside also, but whichever trade fires will turn this off. Okay, obviously this one's going to fire first, unless it pops out of the box and then comes back in it, and then it'll fire then. Let's see which one gets it. Predictor inside. Predictor. Did I stop you too much, chart? Let's see if it fires. It's back in the box. Do touch plus 3. Let's see if we get a little 1, 2, 3 reversal right here. Now see how I'm actually trying to fire this though? It may not fire this because that predictor is out of time now. So it's liable to not fire this trade. See where predictor is actually right here? Right there? Well, did the wrong one. Basically, that's where predictor is right there, and see we're outside the time limit on it. So this may not fire at all. Okay? But could you actually still take this trade? Well, the answer would be yes. You're actually getting a 1, 2, 3 reversal. So if you wanted to, you just simply move the little box here, and if it does a reversal where the bar's down, the bar's up, bar's down, takes out that little swing, you could get it also. But keep in mind that predictors, like I said, are only regions. When I trade a predictor, I only trade the white one on shorts and the green one on longs. And by doing that, you turn on the required trend. Okay? Because you don't want to, for instance, get within X ticks of this, and let's say this bar touched within 2 ticks and ticked back down. It would fire a short. You don't want that. Okay? Because this is an upper predictor like the white one is over here. So what you're wanting to do is you simply want to fire the trade only with the white predictor for shorts and the green predictors for longs. Okay. Let's see here. Do I know when we'll have the new software? Not right offhand, I don't. It'll be basically probably at least a couple of weeks, I would think. Now remember, this is not a region. We would have to do this as a region and fire a region trade, and we can go ahead and do that. Because predictor is out of, see where your predictor's at now? Well, you're not going to fire on this one anymore. Okay, see now that fired on the region. I think it will actually turn out to be some pretty good stuff for everyone because, you know, for instance, when we trade the Phantom, to give an example, okay, that can turn out to be a pretty darn good little trade, can't it? You know, where you get into a pretty nice little trade because you're waiting for that Phantom type trade. And how many of them will change to like a red background or a red midband, and you don't want that Phantom? Now, will it work out? Well, possibly, but you know, our rule of thumb is that we don't want the predictors when, you know, for instance, on not predictors, but the Phantom type trade. We don't want the Phantom trade if the trend changes itself. To give an example, would you short this up here if it came to Phantom if this turned green? No. You'd be looking down here for the Phantom type trade, just the way we teach it. Okay, let's see if this gives us something at all. Markets were slow today, even last night. I got up about 6 something today. Well, we got something. And you put your stop just above the swing, exit on close. Anybody, how many of you trade Phantoms? Just curiosity on that. How many of you trade Phantoms? Not everybody does. Okay, this is like a kicking around. See, this would automatically short this again on this new feature. It would have shorted it right under there at 921. Okay. And that turned out to be a pretty good little trade too. Remember when we traded this morning though? We actually traded longs on YM. Everybody remember that? Oh, I'm comfortable too trading Phantoms like that. Mario, on your question, absolutely. What I like to also trade a lot of times are these fib numbers. When you see something going down like crazy, always be sure to put your fibs on your chart. Because is that a downtrend actually? Well, yes, it is on the minor move, but what about this? Always got to look at it. See that right there where that came down to almost the 38%? Well, technically you wouldn't be doing a long there, obviously, but you know, if you're not using predictors or something like that, could you use stealth? Could you use stealth on it? Well, let's try it and see. We will do a stealth trade. Now remember, stealth does not have to have T or B set. Stealth is just simply the green line. Let's see if we can get a stealth trade. Didn't quite come down to 38%, did it? It came really, really close. It may still, though. It may still. That's a little predictor trade. What do y'all think? Want to try it? Put my stop right there at the swing. It's a predictor trade. See a little predictor trade so far? Now, will it work? We don't know, but keep in mind that these predictor trades can actually turn out to be pretty good. I didn't trade it with predictor. I just looked at predictor instead. And I would put my target right down here at this 38% retracement on that move. And if anybody traded this morning, you got a nice little pop on YM, and it bounced right off this 38% retracement because I had a line drawn on my trading chart and actually got that little trade there. But wasn't this a good one that we were still looking for? We had a predictor here. Those can be really good little trades, and they work out best if they actually ratchet down from the previous swing. How do you have two different stops if the stops say 15? John, on your question, the reason there's two stops on here is because one of them is what we call an exit on close. That would mean that this has to actually close above this line, but your broker has this stop in at his place. Matter of fact, let's just move the target out of the way just to show you. All this has to do is close above that line like it almost doing right now. There you go, and you're out. Okay, but that was nowhere at a broker or anything like that. Of course, this is in replay right now, but if you're trading your live account and everything, the stop that they saw was way up here because the one at your broker. You want me to show you what I'm talking about there? Bear with me just a second, and I'll do that. Let's see, first off, did it get to our 38% yet? Oh, 50%, you're right. It is 50. 50% retracement. But let me show you how that particular little stop works. Let's see if we can get a trade first. All right, we've got a swing across here. This looks like a double bottom, by the way. You want to just try stealth and see? I don't personally like to do the first stealth. Let me show you how to use what we call the second stealth. This is a pretty cool feature that we built into ObjectTrader too. See how you have red stealths right now? Well, we don't know if it's going to go up, but if it does go up, you're going to get a green stealth. So you can actually say, you know what, I want the second green stealth instead, and it won't look at the first one. This is pretty much the little trade that I took earlier. Now watch, when you get a green stealth, it will not trigger the trade because it's looking for the second green stealth, if we get it at all. No green stealth yet. I'll bet there's going to be a green stealth now. There's a green stealth. Okay, notice it didn't fire anything just yet because I told it to look for number 2. See if we can get something here. Now, it would have to break that stealth first. Okay, so what we're waiting on, we didn't take the breakout. Okay, it came through it. Now, if we get a second green stealth, it will fire the trade. There you go. Everybody see that? Okay, now what that looked for was not number 1 green stealth, but number 2. You can tell it as many of the stealths as you want as far as that goes. Okay, you just simply tell it, if you want it on every stealth, you'd put it on 0 and just turn it back on or leave it on auto. Or if you want actually the second one, you would just simply say, I want number 2. If you want the first one, you can actually do 0 or 1. Okay, 0 just means it's going to look for the very next stealth of which one you choose up here. Okay, you want to see if we can get another one for the fun of it? Let's see, it seems like we're going up now, so let's see if we can go ahead and get a green stealth. I'll speed this up a little bit. No green stealth yet, because we already got out of the trade, right? We're waiting on a retrace. Okay, it's through green stealth. Hadn't triggered yet. There's a red stealth. Will we get a green? Yeah, we did. Our top's right up here, though. I probably would just leave that pretty much where it's at. And what I was showing you, John, on your question, let me slow this down for just a second. All right, notice that I've got my stop set just under the swing, okay? But nobody sees this stop at all. They're seeing this one, and they might be thinking, why has he got a stop under that big swing? Well, that's because this is exit on close. We developed this purposely so that you wouldn't get wicked out of a trade and you can move it dynamically on your chart, and you can have it close where it has to close below the little swing. Okay, to give an example, like right here, I can put this live moving on my chart, and if it closes below that little swing, I can take the trade off the table. And if I lost internet connection, this is my stop at my broker. Everybody see that and understand that? This stop is anywhere to be found with your broker. Let me show you here real quick. I'm going to get this out of the way for just a second. See, your stop is at 24,900. That's working. So your stop limit's 24,900. That's all the way down here. Notice this stop's not there. Okay, but I can still protect my coin, and nobody sees where I'm putting this by simply moving it with my swings if I want to, and using exit on close. A lot of our people really like that feature because it's a pretty powerful little feature. Okay. By the way, tonight's not about this at all, but I like to use power meter for my stop a lot of times. And you can actually use power meter, short. Let's see, we're in 2 contracts. Get our stop out of the way. We don't even care. And if that goes red, then this will take me out of the trade. If it doesn't go red, it'll keep going up. If it takes out this little swing right across here, that's going to go red. So see, I could do it with my manual stop or with my lightning. Okay, let's see what that did. Now you could even see you got your power meter on still. If it goes red, it'll take it out. It'll go red right underneath that line if it closes. There you go, you're out. Everybody see how you can use that feature too? Now, what kind of trade setting up right now? Anybody? Isn't this a midband trade? So to do ObjectTrader, when we get this done, will simply be midband trade. You'll be able to then draw a region. It'll draw it automatically as far as it goes. And the way it'll draw it will be, watching that third candle back. And let's just do a touch, fine. Everybody see that? In other words, if this gets in like that, then you're in the trade. Okay. Now, like I said, we'll also have it to where you can do the little swing too. To get the swing, you would have to actually have this turn green. Now watch and see if it gets in that one also. Hopefully I can get there. If that turns green, it'll add 1 or 2. Not green. Should do it if it closes above that little line right there. It should turn green. It's looking to the left to trade the right, just like I teach. See if it did. Now it's got a little thrust, retrace. There it is. See, it broke that swing now. The way it works is it's always looking at lightning. Where it found it this time was right above that swing. So you had a little thrust up, a little pullback, broke above on that bar right there. So we added some contracts to it. Okay? And that's actually the way you trade the stealth feature. And like I said, I want to get stealth to where you can actually trade stealth on the fly and change it to any slope, any average, anything you want on it. I really want to add that also. But I don't want to get ObjectTrader so complicated that, we don't end up wanting to use it either. Okay? Now, the way I like to personally teach on this is if you don't take out that swing right there, I'd turn this little puppy on. And that will simply take you out of all 4 if that changes to a red. Because when they break micro, if they do, they'll go down and check this secondary swing across here. They'll check medium swing, and they might even check a deeper swing like this one over here, like a phantom possibly. So rather than using midband, keep in mind, you can get yourself out of some decent trades, unfortunately, but you'll be amazed at how many times they'll double top these, pull all the way back, take out the previous support, bounce off of a phantom and then head up again and give you a great trade. But if this turns red, I would not be in all four of those contracts. And it'll take it out accordingly if it breaks it. See, now it would have to break right here. Now it's got a high, a low. It'd have to break right here with a close of a bar. See your high, your low. There you go. You just got out. See how perfect that can be for getting out? Now, does that mean that I left some money on the table? Absolutely, it could. But that lightning changed to red, which actually tells me that they're trying to do a lightning down now. Okay? And who knows if you really want to do that. Okay? You want to see if we can get in another trade? And then we'll wrap here pretty quick. Okay? You got a mid-band trade setting up. Okay? If we do it to where you do it with the swings, you'd have to break this swing right here to go long. Everybody see that? With the close of a bar. And that did close. I put my stop really tight just in case. See why? Because you normally want to have an A, a B, and a C. Okay, and this is actually, I think it's some news possibly that came out this morning, because we were in this trade, if I remember right, from down in here. We got a nice little pop up. I'm pretty sure I had the line drawn on the chart right up in here. I'm almost positive of that. But see, if you have like lightning, to give an example, you wouldn't even be in this trade. Now, I'm not teaching lightning tonight as much, but you could turn on lightning and see if you get this trade too. This looks like it's going to break down, actually. Where's our breakdown area, everyone? Right there, isn't it? If it broke it, could you actually short a couple? See, it broke it. Just got a little trade. Okay, now, would you be taking any longs right now? Well, not really, right? Because it actually broke support and everything. So the first trade you're looking for is into mid-band. And let's see if we get a little box. We'll do it with the swings. All right, there it's at mid-band. All right, those bars went straight up, so there's no lightning on here. Okay, if this bar actually closes down, you could absolutely do this right here. And what I would do if you get in a trade and it doesn't work, just like we teach, see, I'd probably be getting in that one pretty quick about that's close enough for me. It broke that swing. And I put my stop nice and tight. Okay? See how that kissed that, predictor right there? Okay? Now, what's the overall trend on this chart? Well, that's a higher low, and I called that this morning in the room. I said, this is actually a higher low. Everybody remember that? And if you were in the room this morning, you remember exactly where it was called, too. I'll turn this off and show you what happened. I'm almost positive this was the area that it did it. Okay, you'd be wanting to break above here if it's going to change trends. Just got to break it. There it did. All right, and what you're waiting for now is you're wanting a pullback. Now, could you actually be looking for a short on this? Absolutely. So if you did like lightning, to give an example, that's the way we're going to set this up on a conservative trade, would be lightning, because it's actually looking, is this going to come down, back up, and head up, or is this going to actually pull down a little bit so we can get in a short trade? See, so far your swing's right there. Now, do you think it's going to go short now? It doesn't look like it to me. We called this in the room this morning. We actually took this trade, boxed it in. But it didn't give much. It actually did a little pullback. And where would you expect this to pull back? Anybody? Just the way we teach it? Now, keep in mind that when we get this new trader built and everything, it's not going to look for this long trade. This is going to be, more your trained eye that does this, because we called this trade in the room this morning, and it actually did this. It came down below, bounced right off the support, and then headed up. Everybody remember that trade this morning? So wouldn't it be great to actually have a lightning type that would actually watch it head down, head down? It would have broken right across here on lightning, and you'd be in that trade. You want to see if it actually worked? I'll just take it for the fun of it, just see. And my target will be right up there. Now keep in mind I got in late, but I just want to see if this, because they came down, didn't they, and tested this swing right here where they broke up. And they tested this one here too. And if you drew your little boxes, you would have had a little sweet spot, like so. Okay? Now, let me ask a quick question. What if you wanted to add to this trade, though, and you like stealth, to give an example? Okay? Could you turn it on? You've got a stealth here. Okay? It broke. So aren't you looking at another stealth very possibly, right? Here? Let's see if we get a stealth for the fun of it. That's your first one. Well, actually, it's your third one, but not since it's done a retrace. Okay, it broke stealth. If it turns green, it'll fire 2 more contracts. Keep in mind, stealth's a little bit more of a breakout trade. There's your stealth right there. That must have turned off. I didn't get it. Or I must not have turned it on. Oh, well. We're 6 minutes into the deal. But everybody see how you can do that? Could you take this stealth like this? And the answer is absolutely, can't you? And if this was to decide to even break this little swing here, could you actually go ahead and go again? Or if it came into this support level like right here, or even broke and just decided to start heading up, could you actually say, you know what, I'm going to add 2 more because this looks really strong. You see what I mean? Okay, I'll go ahead and kill that. Now this is a little bit more hindsight here, but this is that trade we called in the room this morning where we boxed it in. Everybody remember it? Now the quick question is, if you were trading this, where's your next trade on this this chart? Anybody? You're looking for what? A long? Midband, absolutely. Look for a midband trade and see if you can get a little scalp. So if we set up a midband trader and we told it we want right here within X ticks, right? We want within X ticks before it ever draws the box. This would be your entry right here, if it comes down close enough, that is, so far. But it hadn't come close enough to it yet. It might not for a bit. We'll see. See if we can get something. Now that's within 2 ticks of it right there, isn't it? Okay. So you've got a little swing right across here to the left. Let's see if it triggers it or if we keep drawing our box. Looks like we keep drawing our box a little bit, doesn't it? Now I'd probably put my stop right under here because this doesn't look too healthy. Like that, that's your swing. Okay, let's just close the trade for now. Let's see if we can get one more and then we'll wrap. And I'll tell you where ObjectTrader will look for the trade as soon as we get it, if we get it. Okay, right now it would be looking here if it was a swing. Okay, close of the bar. It closed above it, didn't it? Now, did this trade work out for like a few ticks? Not yet. Might not. Okay, so you're out of that trade. Now, where would your trade be again? This looks like this is going to be a phantom trade now. And I'm going to show you how ObjectTrader is going to look at this. Well, right now, if you were on a swing, you'd be looking at this little swing here. Okay, and it went lower. Now you'd be looking for it to break the third bar back, right? Because that's the way we're going to have the algorithm. That's at a phantom right there. Okay. Now this turned red. Okay. This turned red. So would you still take that trade? Well, I probably would, but I wouldn't do it with the auto trader deal. I would simply buy it if it changed the power meter back to green. Or maybe stealth. Power meter already went green. I'd probably buy 1 on the power meter going green. And let's see if we get in a stealth. Now keep in mind with this new auto trader though, it is not going to look for this trade because this turned red right here. And if that background turns red, I don't really want this phantom trade. But you could, we're going to try to build it into it so that you can tell it you still want it, but only if it breaks, from phantom and heads up. Because that red background is a really quick background. This looks like this is going to work, by the way. We were just closing the room at that time. So we can have it where you can override it. I'll talk to the programmer about setting it up like that, because this is a legitimate phantom trade the way we teach it, except for the fact it didn't turn the, well, basically, you didn't break to turn the midband red, so it's still a long trade, but it did turn the background red. So, a lot of times that trade won't work out. Okay, did this one work out? We'll find out. Let me just fast forward it. Yeah, this one worked. But rather than just jumping in this, couldn't you have taken the little stealth trade even? Yeah, it really turned out good. What kind of a trade are you setting up right now? Anybody? A midband trade. Okay. So you would have it simply start drawing the box within X ticks of midband. I can have him do it, where, well, like there's your little swing there for right now. If this bar goes down, this bar goes up, your 1, 2, 3 will be here. If it keeps going down, we could get it deeper. If it's still a phantom trade, we'll take it. Or if it's a midband trade, we'll take it, but it's got to break. Let's see what it did. Just curious. Not in yet. Not in yet. Okay, would you be in here? You'd be in on that bar. And that little trade worked. So that's what we're trying to do, is get this trader to where it will look at like midband trade, but if it doesn't get a midband trade, this box is going to continue drawing. And when this dropped here, it would simply follow this bar down, this bar up, and this bar would have gotten you in right here. And that's a legitimate phantom trade too. Now, will it work? Who knows? But it did get a trade. Okay, that's what we're trying to do. But in the meantime, can you see that you could still take this trade manually? Because we call these all the time in the room. And would I have taken this trade right here at approximately 9:58 right there? I could actually show you if you, well, I don't know if I can drag. I've got a little laptop here. I don't think I've got multiplicity set up on my laptop. I was trading after the room closed on my laptop, but I can tell you what I actually did. I took that trade at a manual entry of 24,933. Okay. And I added one at 935. And I took it out right when it hit that top and pulled back a little bit. And what this trade did, let me just speed it up so you can see it. Now, where I took this one, let's see, this one right across. No, this is the one I took. That's it. I said 958, didn't I? That was the one I took right there. And it came up to that 71 and kind of rolled over. But can you see that you could still take some of these trades really greatly with ObjectTrader region built in and stuff like that? It'll make a world of difference in your trading, I do believe. Okay. So again, let's just check real quick. We're almost 14 over. Let's just see if we can see some more trades. Right here. Now right here. There it is. You're in. Everybody see that? That box would just automatically start drawing like that and get you in that trade. Didn't stop you out at all, did it? And then it just did. Okay. Now, what if this turns red on background? See there's a red. I could tell it was going to do that because it broke support. All right. So what kind of trade are you looking for now? Anybody? What about a midband trade? X ticks from it. 1, 2, 3 reversal. Let's just for the fun of it, fire it and see if it gets even $25, just for the fun of it. There you go. So I think you'll like it. And I'm going to try to have it built into the algorithm to where it's going to look for your choice of a swing break or a 1, 2, 3 reversal, you know, a bar up, a bar down, and breaks this little swing. We'll even set it where it'll go on touch if you want to, but I'd be careful with that. You really want to break this little up, down, and break this with a close bar. Because if they just wick it, they're liable to just be testing this swing here and then head up. So you want to really do a 1, 2, 3 rollover. Okay? All right, everybody, thanks for coming. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope I explained everything the way it needed to be. And what I was going to tell you on that chart was where I did it 24,933 and 935, and then I exited the trade right when it got up to the top there at 954 and got a good little trade. All right, we'll see everybody in the morning. Thanks for coming. Hope you enjoyed it. The stop would still be out there, Davin, on your question. Yes, if you lost internet, your stop would still be there. But keep in mind that that's defaulted at 12 ticks. So with oil, to give an example, with 2 contracts, that would be another $240. But it couldn't wipe your account out is what it would boil down to, because your stop would still be at your broker. You can box in with no bias lots of times, Davin, on your question. Okay. But we had bias. We boxed in here. You know, we got a little trade. When the background turns red and you get this midband, you're boxing in, you know, for the short. You got your short. You know, this one would have boxed in but never fired, and it actually went long instead. But you didn't necessarily get that. You could have probably if you boxed it in at midband. Because we're going to have it to where it'll just be a region, and you can turn both on if you want. All right. Thanks, everyone. See you in the morning. Bye now.